March 21st, 2018, and I want to welcome you to this week's Facebook Live. This week, I'm going to be talking with you a little bit about what it means to be a great team player, and I have a really interesting story that I want to share with you about how I got inspired by a great team this week. So, actually, you probably recognize that this background is not the usual background that I have, and this is not my kitchen. I'm actually in Syracuse, New York, where I had just an absolutely amazing opportunity to speak at an orientation for the United States Bowling Congress yesterday here in Syracuse. So, as some of you may know, I am a bowler. I've been bowling since I was 5 years old. It was the one sport my dad taught me that I truly fell in love with. And I love it for the fact that there's team competition as well as individual competition. And the United States Bowling Congress hosts a premier event every year, and it's called the Open Championships. And the Open Championships this year will begin on Saturday here at the On Center in Syracuse, which is their convention space. And they are prepared to welcome nearly 40,000 participants to bowl the event. It's 3 games of singles, 3 games of doubles, and 3 games of team event. And the tournament runs through July 8th. Well, the tournament's being held in the convention center. So if you've ever had chance to go to an exhibit hall at a conference, just imagine there being 48 lanes in there. It's pretty amazing. And when all the bowlers are in there, it sounds pretty amazing too. So I was asked by the U.S. Bowling Congress tournament director, Dwayne Hagen, to come and speak to his team. And in all the preparation leading up to it, it was very apparent that he felt very confident about how well his team works together. So to put on a major event like this, clearly there has to be a lot of cohesion. But I was asked to come and speak to them about the principles of energy leadership, about core values, and what it means to give and receive effective feedback. And all of this was under the umbrella of how we best show up professionally and energetically to serve the customers, to serve the participants, and to serve their family and friends who are going to come to the event. So here's how I got inspired by them yesterday. We were doing a session on core values. And clearly, we were talking about all of their work in their different divisions. So whether it's check-in and registration, whether it's shipping all of the equipment and what they call Bowling Ball Express, or it's all the lane monitors or the lane technicians or verification services to make sure that everyone's tournament average is correct. So you get the idea. There's a lot of different wheels that are moving to make this machine run. And so I heard team members say, I'm reliable because people know I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And then they would give an example. Or people would say, I'm dependable because if people need me to pitch in and help, I'm able to be there for them and I'll be there for the team. I heard people say that they led with integrity, that they needed to take a lot of pride and care in their work because it was really important for them that this event is as flawless as possible, that everybody who comes into this convention space for the 2 days that they bowl their competition, they have the best experience possible. They may not score well, they may not bowl well, but they definitely want them to have a great time because that's what they can control. So it tied in so nicely because as I'm listening to them, they were explaining, they were describing what makes them such a great team player. And when I think back to how people have come to me when I've interviewed them or when I've reviewed resumes, and it's very cliche just to say, I'm a team player. Okay, well, that's great, but it doesn't tell me anything. And it's a personal frustration for me whenever I've interviewed someone because I don't just want to hear buzzwords and jargon. I want to hear substance. I want to know why you're a great team player. I want to know why I would want you on my team. So, hey, so welcome Terry and John and Billy. Good to see you guys. So let's just talk for a couple minutes that everybody has a specific role on a team. So there may be someone who is designated as the leader. Okay, they may be the one who either has the most experience or they're the one who has the best people skills, and hopefully they're both, or there's someone who is a high potential that is given an opportunity to step up and lead in this moment. So you have the leader. You also have someone who is the taskmaster, right? They're like, got to get this done. We got to get this, kind of like crack the whip type kind of person. But boy, I'll tell you, they just get stuff done. There is no question about it, right? You have the person who is the cheerleader, the rah-rah, the one who may keep everybody's mood kind of light and uplifted. And they're the one to count on when you need a joke, right? But then there's the people who, are the first ones to always say, I'll stay late. Or they're the first ones to go to someone else and be that supportive team member and help them learn something. We all have a particular role on our team. That role that we have is all based on our core values. It's all based on how we show up energetically and professionally in that moment, right? It's how we can best leverage that core value to benefit the team. Because if we're not able to provide for the team, well, there's really not much of a team there. And the last point I want to make before I open it up is this. Every single department that was there in this orientation, and there were 50 people yesterday whom I had a chance to meet, every single team talked about trust. In some way, shape, or form, they mentioned how important it was that they trusted everybody on their team and that their team trusted them. Because, and I've said this before, if you've been following me, right? So without trust, you have nothing. You don't have a team if your team doesn't trust you. So the fact that these people who have worked together for a long time, and I watch them welcome and envelop the new people who are coming into their team, if we can't establish trust with our team members, we don't have a team. So I think it was really inspiring to see how trust played such an important part for them. And because I'm a bowler, because I'm a customer, because I participate in this event and I have a really solid knowledge of what the different areas do to make this event work, it was so empowering to hear how one very simple tenet, one very basic principle, that being of trust, was the most important thing for these teams to work cohesively together. So, hey, Susie, hey, Sharon, it's so great to see you both. So I'm really curious if you could just type in the chat window for me. What is it that makes you a great team player? Why is it that someone would want you to be on their team? And also talk about like maybe what that core value is for you. So go ahead, type something in the box. I'm going to give you a few moments. This is, I want to say it's like my first time to Syracuse. It was actually kind of nice. And I'm coming back here in May to bowl the event as well as to do some follow-up services with people from the orientation, which I'm really excited about. And, right now, I got to tell you, for those of you on the East Coast, it is sunny and about 40 degrees here, and I know you are getting hammered with snow. So yes, Terry, Philadelphia is snowy and going to get hit, and I know right outside of DC they're getting hit. I'm hoping Bowling League gets canceled tonight because I wasn't going to make it anyway. So John, Billy, Susie, Sharon, you guys all be safe too. Terry, be safe as well, right? And the other thing I wanted to share with you is, if you want to go ahead and type something in, we know there are people that don't always play well on a team. So I'm talking about the person who undermines or undercuts other people on the team for their own personal gain or benefit. They're the people whom just simply always look out for themselves. Okay. And I don't think we've always had great experiences being on a team growing up. I remember my teachers would kind of force us to do group work, and I hated it because I never really trusted the people that I was in the group with. And so I kind of became the one to just get it done. Um, but the other part is that, how do you manage a room full of fourth graders to really kind of check in with them? Well, it takes a really special teacher, okay, to really kind of manage that whole process effectively. Well, the same is true for us in the workplace. It takes a really good manager to make sure that her or his team is working effectively, right? And to check in with them and to say, to check in with them and to say what's working well, what's not working well, what are the suggestions for things to be improved, what are you learning, and to be able to really be the conduit to kind of help make those things move. So whenever we have someone on the team who isn't working to their potential or isn't working with the best interests of the team at heart, that is an opportunity to step up and lead. That is an opportunity to step up and identify the situation and talk with them and see what potentially may be able to get done to rectify the situation. But don't let it go. Don't let it depend on someone else to do it, because if we keep passing the buck, nothing ever changes. All right, let's see here. Let's see what we got in the chat box. Right, Terry. Yeah, so certainly. So about trust, right? Yeah, Billy. So if someone doesn't trust you, the question is, why are they not trusting you? All right. Or why are they trusting someone? Okay. So there's an opportunity for a conversation there. Yeah, Susie, right? Susie, you do. You care about people and definitely want them to succeed. Um, Right. So getting to know what their strengths are, exactly. So when you know what their strengths are on the team, you have that entry point to bring them in with something that they feel competent and confident doing. And then that then allows them to kind of operate in a space where they get to do something that they feel pretty good with. And then you get to see how they're doing with it, and they get to experience how you get to manage in the moment. Right. Yeah. So not everyone has the same skills. Absolutely. Yeah. Um, I will never forget when someone came to me and they said, "You're really good at leading a team. Will you help me with that?" That was something that I knew was a strength, but it was also a strength of that person who came to me to recognize that that wasn't one of theirs, and needed a little bit of help with it. So not only was I able to help them lead their team, but I was also able to help them in the process. Right? Yeah. So I don't care whether a team is made up of 2 people or 200 people. Everybody has their own skills to kind of bring to the table and leverage them as best as possible. Um, Yeah, Billy, you know what? Yeah, sometimes when management's a trust issue, and absolutely, but I don't know a whole lot about your situation, so I'm not going to speak directly to it. But if you want to message me, we can talk about it a little bit more, okay? Because I'm going to need a little bit more from you with that. Um, Sharon, it's so good to hear from you, right? Yeah, it's those non-participation person who seems to get under my skin. Well, of course, Sharon, they're going to get under your skin, right? Because you're not doing a damn thing. They're the ones that kind of sit back and let everybody do the work. I was talking with someone the other day, and of course, we're in the midst of annual performance review time, right? And they were saying how they did absolutely everything they were asked, everything that they were supposed to do, and they got a satisfactory rating. It was like a 5-point scale. They got a 3, and they know someone on their team who doesn't do the same level of work. And yet they still got the same rating, and they still got a decent, like average cost of living plus kind of raise. And it ticked them off. I was like, well, of course it's going to tick you off, because you're doing all this extra work and you're feeling like, or you're seeing someone not necessarily pull their own weight, and they're getting rewarded in the same way. So yeah, whenever there's an inequity or an imbalance in the work responsibilities or people on the team, that's absolutely frustrating. And when it came to those elementary school team assignments and stuff, yeah. I remember my mom would always say to me, she's like, well, they know you're going to do it. Well, that happens in the workplace too, right? When we know that someone's going to go ahead and do it, sometimes we have a tendency to let them go ahead and do it. And if we're that person that's kind of tasked with getting all that stuff done, that can be really frustrating for us. So if you are familiar with the United States Bowling Congress, check them out. You can learn more about them at bowl.com, BOWL. And again, the Open Championships is such an amazing event. And if you ever get a chance to bowl it, it's pretty neat. So good stuff there. And if you are interested in learning more about how I help organizations build more effective and cohesive teams in alignment with their core values, so they can define how they get to show up in energetically and professional ways, message me. If you know someone that you think may be interested in my services and what I can provide, reach out to them, put us in contact with each other. I appreciate any kind of word of mouth. If you happen to talk to anybody from yesterday's event, and I will share this as well, I am someone that when I have to sit in an all-day training, I like a lot of movement. I don't like having to sit and just be talked to all day long. So we had a lot of engagement yesterday. If you check out some of my posts, my pictures from here or on my personal Facebook page, you will see that I had people up and moving around, and we got the day moving. So I appreciate everyone who was there at orientation yesterday that may take a look at this video later. Again, thank you. Thank you for your participation and openness yesterday. It was an honor and a pleasure to be with all of you. And I'm going to call it, because I got to check out of this hotel room. So thanks, everybody. It was great hearing from you. Thanks for all of your comments, and continue to follow me and stay safe. I know the weather out there where some of you are is pretty rough. So be safe and stay warm. And I'll talk to y'all next week. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.